Gamers, welcome back to some more Super Auto Pets content. We're doing something a little bit different today. We are making a Super Auto Pets tier list. I just finished the standard pack for Super Auto Pets, which means I got all the pets from the standard pack to level 3, and all I have left to do is the expansion pack and get all those pets to level 3, and then I'll finally have 100%. So I wanted to make a tier list on the standard pack pets. This is all just my opinion, by the way. I want to make that known. This is my opinion on what I think is good. Let's get right into it. So the very first pet that I want to put into S tier, I always grab this pet, and that is the Otter. I think the Otter is 100% S tier, especially in the very first few rounds. You get an Otter that buffs someone else. Oh, it's so good. You get a fish and an otter. I feel like that's an amazing combo because the fish is 2-3 already at the very start. And then you get an otter, give it to the fish. Ooh, it's so good. I love playing around with the otter and incorporating it into my own build. I love the Otter. Goose, S tier. I'm going to put it in front of the Otter. If I can't. There we go. The Goose. I love to say that the Goose Gambit is the best strategy in the game. The Goose Gambit is where you just grab the goose and replace it with whatever pet, or if you have an open slot, and you just get gold. Every time you end a round, you get gold. And that just gives you more of a chance to get a pet that you need or want, or it just gives you a better chance to get something that you need, or you can just get more things. You can buy more things. At level 3, you start out with 13 gold if your goose is level 3. And 13 gold is really good because that gives you, 1, it gives you extra chances to roll, and 2, you can buy, like straight up, just buy 4 things at the very start. Like if you don't roll, you get everything you need, and you have 4 things that you need. You can buy all them and then roll again. It's really good. So I think Goose, S tier. Goose Gambit, all the way. You know what? I'm going to say Skunk is also S tier. Skunk is just, oh man, it's amazing. You have something that's 50-50, right? Skunk is going to be like, nope, sorry, you're not that anymore. You level it up to where it gets, is it a 99%? It's 33, 63, 66, and then 99%, right? At level 3. So if you have something that's, again, 50-50, and you have a level 3 skunk, ooh, that thing is a goner, dude. Badger, I'm going to put into, I want to say B or A, because I honestly love the Badger. I really like using the Badger. I think it's such a fun pet, and it's such a fun thing to use. You can use it in different ways that can just throw people off, and it's amazing. I don't always win with it, so I think it should go in like high B, maybe low A, but I love the Badger. Badger builds are so much fun. A for Ant. Again, it buffs animals when it dies. So if you get an ant that's, pretty big, a pretty fat ant, and then when it dies, it just buffs one of your pets, that's pretty dang good, especially in the early rounds. Now, in the later rounds, I've come to find out that ants are not really that good. But also, if you sleeping pill the ant, your team just gets a buff. Or at least one of your pets gets a buff. So I think ants are really good. We're gonna skip all the expansion pack pets for right now. And just stick with the standard ones, or all the animals in the standard pack. Beaver, I would say is, Beaver is either low B or high C. And the reason why I say this is because Beaver is basically meant to be sold, right? Now I've got some wins with the Beaver. Like I've gotten a level 3 Beaver and just kept it throughout my entire game, and we've won because my Beaver was huge. I had a fat Beaver, man. This thing was big. It was a big boy. And but the thing is, it's meant to be sold because its power is you sell this animal, and it gives your team 1-1, I think, right? Yeah, because it's a 1-1, and then at level 3, 3-3. I think that's correct. Forgive me if some of these are wrong. I got all these to level 3, but I don't pay attention to their level 3 abilities all the time, so forgive me if I'm wrong. Bison, I'm going to put at A for right now, only because if you get a Bison early on, it's going to give itself a buff if another animal is level 3. That's why I think it might be a B tier, because it has to work around a level 3. See, if you get like a level 3, like I've done this before, got a level 3 ant, and once my ant leveled up to level 3, it spawned in a Bison, right? So I bought the Bison with my level 3 ant. It was a great build. It was a wonderful build that I had. But the thing is, there are prerequisites. There are prerequisites to having this animal be useful. So that's why I want to say this thing is either A or B. This thing does, if you level it up, has some great buffs. I mean, it just keeps buffing itself. That's the thing. So we're going to put it in A. I think it might be like a low A tier. I honestly love the cat only because I love doing food builds. And what food builds are is your whole team is based around you feeding food to your team. The more you feed your team, the better they will be. You don't really have to necessarily like level them up, really. You just have to keep feeding them and they'll keep buffing your team. And so that's why I really like the cat. However, cat is tier 6. So you have to get to the late stage of the game to get the cat. And the cat just doubles your food. Now, if you already have a food build established, cat can be very, very good. But I feel like the cat, since it being tier 6, is going to be lower on my tier list, only because you already have to get to a late stage in order for the cat to be good. Now, getting a level 3 cat is a different story. You get a level 3 cat, all the food is quadrupled. You get a pear or sushi. You're giving your whole team just massive buffs, and it's amazing. But at that time, you should already have a team that's really well built. And then to implement the cat, that's kind of tough. So I'm going to put cat at low B, only because I like using the cat when I can. No, I'm going to put it at C. I'm going to put it at C. Only because you have to get to the late stages in order for the cat to be useful. And it's hard to implement the cat if you already have a good team established. I don't know what other people think of that, but that's how I feel about the cat. Pufferfish, I do not like using pufferfish. However, I've seen people use pufferfish to its, max potential. And it's really good. But I don't use it as much. Now, see, if you had like a hedgehog pufferfish build, pufferfish can be really, really good. I've had a team of like 2 hedgehogs with like 3 pufferfish that all had garlic armor on them. My team just gets sniped before I can even attack and they win. I've had that happen. So we're going to put pufferfish, I want to say C. C is just kind of like meh. B is average. A is, good to get. And S is like, you need these animals in your team kind of thing. So I'm going to keep pufferfish at B for right now. It is subject to change. I think it's like a low B, really. You can play around with it, and if you have garlic armor on the pufferfish, it's really good. It's a level 3 though, right? Or tier 3 thing. But I don't like it as much, but I have seen how useful it can be, so I'm going to keep it at B. Squirrel. Now, squirrel, again, is another good animal to have if you're doing a food build. At level 3, you get free food. If you have the squirrel with the cat, that's just amazing. You have a squirrel with a rabbit, again, amazing. You have a squirrel with a seal, really good. But the squirrel itself, it's a 2/5. So I feel like squirrel can be versatile with the team that you have, but it's kind of like the cat in the way where you have to make sure you have a good team established in order to have the squirrel be implemented and also win games, If you don't really have that good of a team and you get a squirrel, you have to wait till the next round to even like use the squirrel's ability. So I'm going to put it at B. Again, it's kind of just average. It's nice to have, but like it's not something you should like get all the time, or it's something that if you have in your team is going to just be good. you have to like work around it or play around it, I guess. Cow, I think is A. And the reason why I say that is because cow, when you get it, gives you free food. It gives you milk, 2 milks that are +1, +2 each. So you're getting a +2, +4 buff just for the cow. And the cows, I think, what is it, 4-6? No, 3-5? When you get it? No, it's 4-6 because it's tier 5, I think. Yeah, cow, amazing. We'll keep it at A. I'm gonna put it at high A. I think that's reasonable. Crab, I'm also gonna put as A. That's another thing that you should buy if you have it. But the thing with the crab is that it copies the highest level health. If you give like a fish or a low tier animal a lot of health and you get a crab, you put the crab down, it gives you 3 attack, but you have a lot of health. You add meat to the crab or even garlic armor to the crab. That thing is very nice to have. It is. I've gone through a few rounds with the crab and just put like meat or garlic armor on it, and that thing will save my entire team. I've kept the crab in the late stages of a round, and it's amazing. Crab is wonderful to have. The thing is, you can keep stacking the crab, and it'll keep copying from the highest level, highest health thing. A really good strategy for the crab is if you have a really high health character or pet, you throw a cupcake onto that pet, and then you buy the crab. Boom. Crab has a permanent buff that's +3 over the health, the maximum health, because of the cupcake. So crab is really good, and I feel like there's a lot of good strategies with the crab. Cricket, I don't necessarily like the cricket. If you have a cricket horse combo, I think it's really good, but I don't always like the cricket. But I have seen people use it like in the early rounds that usually win. If I don't get a cricket and someone else has a cricket, and I like am gonna draw, but they have a cricket as their last thing, they're gonna win because it spawns, the zombie cricket. So I'm gonna for being so low though, I think cricket is like low B. It's decent. If you put honey on it, you're spawning 2 more animals after it dies, but it's only a 1-2, I think. And yeah, it's good. I just don't like using it all that much, but I have seen a lot of people win early rounds with it just because, you think you're going to draw the round and then, they spawn a zombie cricket and you don't win. So it has its uses. It does have its uses. Also, if you put it in front of a ox, the ox is going to get more of a buff from it. So it has its uses. I'm going to put it maybe like mid B. It's definitely right here because it's below pufferfish, it's below badger, and I think it's below squirrel as well. Let's see, crocodile. Crocodile I really like using because a lot of people like to put decent things in the back of their team. For example, a lot of people like to do badger honey builds and put the badger in the back. Well, if you have a good enough crocodile, you put that thing in the back, badger is going to attack the thing in front of it, and no more badger, and you reduce the health of the other animal. So crocodile can be really good unless someone has like, let's say like a monkey in the back or something dumb that's not really useful. Crocodile is not going to be that good. So I think crocodile is like mid B. Deer spawns a 5/5 bus with splash damage. Now if you get a really big deer and then it also spawns a bus, that's really good. You put a tiger behind that thing. You put a parrot behind that thing. There are so many things that can be useful with a deer. The only downside, it spawns a 1/1. So if there's a dolphin or something, it kills the deer and it spawns the bus. So I guess that kind of hurts. But I think deer is really good. I'm going to put it in A because it can be very useful to your team. Dog D. Do not get the dog. Dog sucks. Ever since it got nerfed, dog sucks. Also, Dodo. I'm also going to put Dodo at D. Dodo you really have to work at to make it good. I have seen Dodo, be useful, but like not as much as other animals. Like every time I see someone with a Dodo build, their front animal, the one that the Dodo is buffing, has the highest health but the lowest attack. So the Dodo will up the attack and I'll just destroy that animal, and the Dodo's it's got nothing. It's got nothing. So yeah, I'm going to put Dodo at D because you really have to work at the Dodo to make your team good. Dog is just garbage. Dog is just Absolute garbage. Let's see. Dolphin. Dolphin I really like using. I think it's a very good, what is it, tier 4, I believe? And it does 5 damage to the lowest health enemy. So I think Dolphin A tier. I'm going to say it right now. I don't think it's S tier. I think it's A tier. Now, Dragon. Dragon's interesting. I have had a Dragon build that was amazing, and it got me the win for the game. But, like, when I see a Dragon, I just don't buy it because my team that I have is really good, and just the Dragon doesn't really help. Because you have to get, if you think about it, you have to get rid of 2 of your animals in order for the Dragon to be useful. If I have a squad of 5 and there's a Dragon that pops up, I usually don't get the Dragon. Now, if I'm trying to build around the Dragon, it's really good. So as it is, I think Dragon, I either want to say high B or low A, because I just don't like the fact that you have to get rid of some of your animals in order for the Dragon to be useful. So I'm going to put it at high B because it's very useful. And even at level 3, incredibly useful. But as it is, I think high B is generous, I think. Duck D tier. Do not buy Duck. Duck is garbage. You can have a full squad of 5 with a Duck in the early rounds. Sell all of them, buff up your next team. But that's all you do, is you buff up your next team. And it only gives you like 1 health, I think. So Duck, not good. For what it is, Duck is garbage. Elephant. I don't like Elephant. Elephant has its uses. Let's say there's a Pufferfish. There's a Peacock. Elephant is useful. However, getting past the mid section of the game, Elephant just falls off. It's just not useful. There's so many better animals than the Elephant. And you have to make sure that there are other animals that can be used by the Elephant to work. You know, I've had people use an Elephant that's level 2, have a Camel behind that, and then have a Peacock behind it. And that works. That does work. But you get into the higher rounds, Elephant falls off. It's not good because it's damaging the animals behind you. And if your Elephant gets rocked immediately, the rest of your team is dunzo, is garbage. I'm going to say that right now. So Elephant, I'm going to put in C tier because, you know, it's good in the mid game, but late game, it is not good. Sheep, I'm also going to put C tier. For what it is, a tier 3, it's a 2-2, and it spawns another 2-2 sheep. For what it is, it's okay. It's a better cricket. If you're going for a summoning build, sheep is good to have. However, I've never been successful with a sheep. Now, pre-update or before the update, when summoning builds were the meta, like if you wanted to win, you made a summoning team, sheep were really good. But I feel like now, since they kind of nerfed the whole summoning aspect, sheep are okay. Maybe high C. Cat's definitely better. Beaver, I don't really know. I'm gonna mid C, I guess. It's okay, but not great. So we'll keep it with that. I feel like the fish it's very basic. You know, it doesn't have a super good ability, you know, like I don't know, Otter has an amazing ability. Fish is kind of like the Otter, but its ability is not as good as the Otter, but the health and attack are better than the Otter. So I'm going to put the fish in A. Flamingo, I used the Flamingo often, but I always sleeping pill it. So it's kind of like the ant in a way, but I don't like it as much as the ant. So we're gonna put it at like, oh geez, see, I don't know. It's better than the pufferfish, not as good as the crocodile. I'm gonna actually put crocodile above badger to keep it real with you. I feel like that's decent to put the flamingo. It's not bad. It's not good. It's useful, but I don't really take the flamingo to the late game. I usually sleeping pill it. Once it gets level 2, I usually sleeping pill it. Gonna keep it real. Fly. Before the nerf, Fly was obviously S tier. Everyone loved the Fly. It was great for a summoning build. It was amazing for a summoning build, especially before it got nerfed. Now though, I still think fly is really good. I've seen a lot of builds where it's like it's turkey, fly, sheep, deer. I've seen a couple builds like that where a fly just pops off. So I think fly really comes in handy sometimes. So I'm going to put fly A tier. And especially if you get that thing to level 3, which spawns a 15/15 fly, you put a turkey behind that dang thing. I think even if you put I don't think it would work if you put a tiger behind it. It might, but I'm not sure. I've never tried it. But yeah, I think fly can be extremely useful. Now, giraffe I really like. Giraffe, let's say you have a team and it's really good, and you don't really need you're not getting good rolls, but you have a giraffe. If you keep the giraffe, the thing in front of you is just getting kind of basically getting a free apple every turn. It's getting a 1/1. Now upgrading the giraffe kind of sucks because it just gives the animal in front of that a 1/1 as well. So it's giving the 2 animals in front of it 1/1 at level 2, 3 animals in front of it 1/1 at level 3. So really leveling the thing up is not good. So I'll just buy the giraffe and keep it on there for a bit. Maybe throw garlic armor or meat on it, keep it up there for a few rounds, and then sell it. So I get, let's say if I keep it up for 3 rounds, I get a 3/3 buff. And the giraffe's been there for a bit, maybe it had some meat or garlic on armor, like I said. You win a couple rounds, you sell it and get something better. So I think giraffe is just useful to buy. I'm going to say giraffe is A tier. Let's see. Gorilla. Gorilla has coconut armor, which just makes you immune, but you have to take damage first. So I think if you put melon armor on it or garlic armor on it, and then it slaps coconut armor over that, whoa, that bad boy is insane. I wouldn't say gorilla is a must buy, but it definitely it makes itself immune once it takes damage. So as long as you don't have a huge animal that just wipes it out at first, or like I said, if you put melon armor on it and it survives its first attack, let's say from a 50/50, it just makes itself immune, so it gets an extra attack. So, and at level 2 or 3, if this thing is big enough, it can wreck your entire team. Hedgehog. I do love me a hedgehog build. I love carpet bombing things. I love carpet bombing the enemy team and also my team, I guess, an extension of that. But again, I've never taken the hedgehog to late game. However, I've seen a few builds where the hedgehog makes it to late game and wipes out the entire team. If you have multiple hedgehogs on there that are high level, that can do a lot of damage to your team. I'm gonna put hedgehog with pufferfish because these two are a great combo. But if you don't build around these two or build around the hedgehog, your team is going to struggle. So I think hedgehog is B tier right below the pufferfish because pufferfish you can implement and you don't have to build around it, but you can, and pufferfish will work. Hedgehog you have to build around. You have to make sure your animals are going to survive the hedgehog's onslaught of just damage. So I think that's perfectly reasonable to have the hedgehog there. Maybe high C. Actually, I think that might be better. Hippo. I'm going to put Hippo at low C. And I want to say this, Hippo is a lot of work. It's good against summoning builds, but again, you get something that's not a summoning build, then you risk the chance of just having this Hippo just get wasted. Horse. Horse is just a worse turkey, but at the beginning game and mid game, it's decent. If you have a cricket horse build, it's pretty dang good. If you keep buying animals and summoning animals, it's going to give it a buff. So I think horse at tier 1 is decent. I don't like doing horse builds, but there are decent horse builds out there that people use and works. So I think horse is B tier. I'm going to put it below badger but in front of flamingo because it just buffs whatever you put on there, but it is a temporary buff. So it works really great for summoning builds. Okay, kangaroo. I'm putting it A. Kangaroo, I'm actually going to put high in A. I think Kangaroo is amazing. You put an ox in front of it, it's good. You put any animal that has decent health, and if it at least gets like 2 attacks off, your Kangaroo's set. Especially for it being a tier, 2, 3, something like that. It's amazing. I've won many games where I just slap a Kangaroo and it does really good. Now, when it comes to late game, that's when it starts to fall off. But God, I've won so many mid to late games with Kangaroo, because I think it spawns in at a 2/2, I think. But anytime the front animal attacks, it gets a 2/2 buff. Now, I do like me a leopard build. I do like the leopard strategy. You slap a leopard on the board, you play, leopard immediately attacks. I think it's a random enemy for half its damage. So you get, I don't know, let's say if you have a maximum leopard, level 3, 50/50, that thing is going to do 25 damage to 3 different pets. That is insane. Before anyone else attacks, it does that much damage. That's amazing. Now, it does spawn in with really low health, but 10 damage. So it does 5 attack before anyone else. And then once something does attack it, it's going to do 10 damage. So it does 15 damage in total, basically. I think it's low A tier, but it can be very, very useful. Mammoth, I also think is low. No, Ant is kind of like Ant, but better. So I'm going to put it up here with the Giraffe. Mammoth is a really good tier 6. Also, when it dies, it gives your entire team plus 2/2. I think Snail is a must-buy, not going to lie. I think Snail is must-buy. Here's what I'll say. I think Mammoth is a must-buy. I think Mammoth, you have to buy it. Monkey is B tier. I think Monkey is high B tier. I think it's better than the Dragon. Really, Monkey is a simple thing. Buffs your animal before the round starts. It gives it a 3/3, the very front animal. So I think it's really good. I use the Monkey often if I can. If I can move my team around or sell something and get a Monkey, I will. Yeah. Mosquito, okay. Hear me out. Mosquito is a must-buy. Or at least a really high A. Low must-buy, high A. And I say that because level 3 Mosquito in late game is fantastic. In late game, a lot of people like to use melon armor. The Mosquito comes in clutch late game. That thing, it only does 1 damage, but it shoots 3 different things. So you have a Mosquito late game. It shoots out 3 of its, little projectiles at 3 different animals. And if, a few of the animals have melon armor that you need to get rid of before the game starts, Mosquito will do that. Now, that is saying that it has to be level 3 to, shoot 3 things, but it's low tier. You can get a level 3 Mosquito really easily as long as you got Lady Luck on your side. So I think, you know what? I think it's high A. Maybe not must buy, but high A. I fully believe the Mosquito is amazing to have. It's kind of like a leopard in a way. You have to really work to get this leopard to level 3. Mosquito is low enough tier to where you can get that thing to level 3 pretty dang easily. Ox mid game is really good, but I think it falls off once you can buy melon armor in the store. So I'm gonna say high B. Yeah. Parrot. God, we still have a lot to go through. Holy shit. Scorpion. Okay, let's just do this really quick. Scorpion, must buy. It's a 1/1, but it annihilates anything in front of it as long as it doesn't have melon armor. I'm going to say Rooster, D tier, Rat, D tier, Shark, I hate, but it has some uses. Snail, must buy. I'll go through all these in a second. Rabbit, must buy. Rabbit and Snail, must buy only because you can, as long as you have an animal that you can sacrifice and slap a Snail in there, you just buff your entire team. And then you can sell it right after and get something else. I think Snail S tier, just for the fact that you can buy it and sell it and buff your team. Easy peasy. You don't even have to keep it. Now, if you do keep it, you get a better buff from it, but, I rarely do that. Rabbit Rabbit must buy, because you get any food, it's going to give your animal an extra health. You slap a cupcake on someone, it gives it also a +1 health, but that +1 is permanent. So I think rabbit is must buy. I will always get a rabbit if I can. It's great for food builds, or even any other build that you just need to buff an animal, or at least its health. You get a rabbit. Rabbit is amazing. Shark, I hate shark. I hate shark so much. You have to keep shark in the back, and you have to hope to God that there's no crocodile that's going to murder you, or a crocodile tiger. You just have to hope that shark's going to survive long enough to where it gets its buff from your entire team dying. Rat is a 4/5, but it spawns an enemy. So let's say you're about to draw, but your rat dies, the enemy team wins. Rat is terrible. Don't buy rat. Rooster, after its nerf, is terrible. I think parrot is high D because it just copies whatever's in front of it. Tiger, I want to say, is must buy because it just doubles whatever ability is in front of it. Maybe high A. I'd say parrot and tiger are almost the same in a way, so high A. I think these two are just both high A. They're really good, very versatile. Let's see. Peacock. Peacock is good mid-game. If you have garlic armor on it, it's really good. It's kind of like the ox, but it falls off late game. It really does. Unless you have really high health with the peacock, it just kind of falls off. So I think ox and peacock, not really exactly the same. I think ox is definitely better than the peacock, but they're relatively the same. Let's see. Penguin, I don't like. Penguin, we're going to put C. We're going to put behind the beaver. It's a 1-2. It's a tier 4, I think. And it's just, once you get to tier 4, there's so many better things. Unless you have a team filled with level 2s and level 3s. Yeah, no, it's C tier. It's decent, but again, you have to work around it. Or have to have animals that work with the penguin. So, pig, for what it is, man, I think pig is D tier. I think it's high D, maybe mid D. You sell it, you get 1 gold, but you have to spend 3 gold to buy it. Like, it's only really good if you have a dragon, you buy a pig, and you sell it, and you get, 1 gold back. You're basically only buying for a pig, or a pig for 2 gold. I'm speaking really fast. So yeah, pig, it's a 3/1. I mean, it's decent early game if you need a lot of attack. But, I mean, for 1 health, you get a mosquito, it's going to kill a pig. So, pig, I think, is D tier. I never really buy pig. It's just not that good. And also, the goose is just much better. So, if you need gold, you get the goose. Rhino, I feel like, is kind of like the hippo in a way where just you need a lot of work to make it good. Right? Now, if you have a big enough rhino, it'll wreck your team. If you have a tiger behind the rhino is really good, but you have to make sure, like the hippo, that the rhino survives the initial, knockout. It has to knock out the enemy first before its ability activates. So again, I feel like the rhino is a lot of work, but it's definitely good in some cases. I'm going to put it low B. Because at least it attacks the thing in front of it instead of just buffing itself like the hippo. Seal, it's another food build pet. If you have things that use food to its advantage, seal is amazing. Seal is fantastic. I want to say, even by itself, you don't even have to have a rabbit or squirrel to have the seal, good. You slap a food on a seal, and it's just going to buff 2 other random pets. It's really good. You put it in your team, you need some buffs, and this thing's a 3/8 as it is. Ooh, I like it. I think it's definitely like low. I'm going to put it behind the roo, but it's good. I love the seal. Shrimp. Oh, God, I don't use shrimp. Because you have to sell an animal for it to activate its ability, which gives another pet a +1 health or a +1/1. No, it's 1 health. You sell an animal, you sell a friend, and then a random friend gets +1 health. So I want to say D tier, because not only do you have to buy the shrimp, but you have to sell one of your animals for its ability to activate. So I think it's high D. I still would never buy it, but yeah, I don't even say it's decent. I just don't think it's good. I really don't. I don't think its ability is even that good for what it is as well. Sloth is obviously the highest S tier. It's a must buy always. Literally, if you don't buy it, you die. So that's not even me making it up. It's on the wiki. Go look it up. If you don't want to get hit by a bus, you buy the Sloth. It's that simple. So obviously you buy it. Snake is right behind Kangaroo. And I say that because it's like the Kangaroo in a way where you have to have an animal in front of it that is going to survive more than one attack for it to be really good. So, I don't know. You put this behind an ox that has melon armor. You put this behind a bison that's buffed up once you get to the tier 6s. You put it behind, I don't know, like a mammoth so it gets a buff. You put it behind anything that gets at least 2 attacks off, this thing's going to be great. You know what? I think it might be, but it has to have the other animal attack. So I'm going to put it in front of Kangaroo, but it's definitely really good. It's very useful. Let's see. Spider spawns in something with 2/2 health. It's a 2/2 as it is. It's definitely better than the cricket. If you sleeping pill this, you have a chance of getting a good tier 3 pet. Oh, but for what it is, I think it's just cricket, but better. So I'm gonna put it in front of the horse, but it's definitely B tier. Turkey is really turkey's decent, but you have to have either a summoning build or like with a dragon, you spawn something in and it's gonna get a buff, but you have to have a team of 4 that's really good that can implement the turkey. So I'm gonna put turkey at low A, because you have to have either a summoning build or you have to summon something in for it to work. But it does give it a decent buff. It's like monkey, but a little bit better, I feel like. So yeah. Camel, I'm going to put it high A. For being, like a mid-tier animal. You throw garlic armor on that thing, and it gives the animal behind it a buff. So if the camel is, the camels are 2/5. You put garlic armor on that thing, I think it's a tier 3, tier 2, tier 3 animal. Again, you put garlic armor on that thing, it survives maybe 1-2 hits. The animal behind it gets 2 buffs from it. Whew. You put a camel in front of a roo. That's a great combo right there. Camel, I feel like, just has a lot of uses, and its ability is very good. And spawning in at 2/5 is also very nice. Turtle is kind of like camel in a way. I'm going to put it right behind there. It gives the thing behind it melon armor, which reduces the damage by 20. So when the turtle spawns in, you give something behind it melon armor. That thing's basically just immune for a hit. So I think it's decent. What else? Whale, C, low C. It's useful, but not at tier 4. At tier 3, whale was very useful. When the summoning meta was the thing to do, whale was, I think, godlike. Now at tier 4, it's just, because at tier 4 you're already getting into that late game, and there's just so many better animals than that. But at tier 4, I feel like you don't buy it. You don't buy it anymore. So I'm gonna say it's low C. Worm is low B. It spawns in at 2/2. I believe it's a tier 4 animal, but you give it food, it gives itself a 1/1 buff. You have a rabbit with that thing, it's gonna get big fast. But you have to feed it food, and it spawns in at either a 2/2 or a 1/1. I think it's a 2/2. But yeah, you really have to work to get this thing to get big, but it gets big fast. So that's why I think it's like low B. Like, it's still useful, but you have to have food, and you have to have the gold to feed this thing. And you're sacrificing buying other pets or feeding other pets to get this thing to a very big, level. I'm going to do food really quick, just based on how I buy them. I think I'm just going to put these all in the back. Canned food, A tier. Chocolate, must buy. Cupcake is like circumstantial, I guess. It's decent, but temporary. You give it with the crab, it's decent. Steak is really good. I'm going to put that above you. Garlic armor, I feel like, is almost a must buy. Chili pepper is A. You're giving it splash damage. Meat is also A. I'm going to put it above because if you give that to something like a camel or turtle or something, it just does +5 attack, you know. Honey, again, circumstantial. You can put it on a badger or something in the very back, and if you draw, you're going to win because you have a B, so I think that's good. Melon armor, I believe, is a must-buy. Shroom is A. It can be really good. I don't think it's a must-buy. It would be a must-buy if it worked for everything and made everything really good. Pear is definitely A. Sleeping pill is B. Circumstantial. Pizza is A. Apple is... I'm going to put apple at B. Salad, I'm going to put it A as well. Sushi, I'm going to put at must buy. I just think you give 3 animals a +1/1 is really, really, really good. Now, the only thing we didn't do is boar. So in place for the boar, we'll just use the goat. Boar, I think, is a worse hippo. It's a tier 6. I think it's a worse hippo. So we're going to put it right behind the hippo. This is my Super Auto Pets tier list. You can hate me if you want, if you don't agree with this, or, let me know. If you do or don't agree with this, I'd be happy to change things around depending on what you think. But this is just what I think and how I use the animals. This is what I think. This is my tier list and how I play the game. Now, other people are obviously going to have different opinions on what they think depending on how they play the game and how they use the animals. Because everyone kind of uses it differently, right? You don't always use the animals the same way. Yeah, they have the same abilities. Like, that doesn't change for anyone, but you can use them in different ways. And it's surprising to see how many different ways you can use the animal's abilities to your advantage. So this is just how I play the game and how I think these animals should be ranked based on my experience and how I play the game and how I use the animals. So this is all just my opinion, although I do think I'm better than everyone else. So obviously this tier list is better than everyone else's.